you're like me and you love Lego, but really struggle with keeping all of your loose pieces organised, this video might be about to change everything. Because I've just stumbled across an app that has the potential to honestly be revolutionary. It's called Pileometer, and it is a complete game changer for Lego storage and organisation. And before everybody has a little bit of a whinge, no, this video is not sponsored. This company have not reached out to me. I saw a TikTok on this a couple of days ago, thought it was great, downloaded the app, have been using it, still think it's great. I've reached out to the developer and not heard back from them. So there's no iffy dodginess going on here. This is just something that's really, 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 really good. And it's so shiny and new that this is pretty much all they've got on their website, pileometer.app. It's just 2 sentences and then links to the App Store and the Google Play Store. So it is available on both iOS and Android. I've been testing it on iOS, but I'm sure the Android version works exactly the same way. They do have an Instagram page as well. But again, everything is so shiny and new that they only have 4 posts on it. And they've only been posting for a couple of days. Bless their cotton socks. But if we go to their App Store page, this actually does describe it pretty well, because the general gist of how this app works is it allows you to simply, easily and quickly categorize your loose Lego parts. So rather than messing around and storing everything in tiny little storage containers and little drawers and little things within drawers, the way I've shown you to do it before, the way I've been trying to do it all my life and failing miserably, and which is why I just have a couple of big tubs of unsorted loose Lego that sit in my storage unit, never to be recovered. This solves that problem for people like me, because it basically allows you to take piles of 100 to 200 bricks, so like a handful of Lego, spread it out on a table, take a picture of it with your phone then categorizes all the parts, it sorts them by part type and color. You then take those parts, put them in a Ziploc bag, label the bag, store the bag. Sounds pointless when you explain it like that. I'm going to show you it working in a second. But the real genius of it comes because it's collating all that information in the background so that you can then search and retrieve your pieces at a later date. So if, for example, you need to look for a 1x2 red brick, you can go into the app, ask for a list of all your 1x2 red bricks, and it will tell you what bags you've got one in. So then to go and find that brick, you just go and find that bag, take it out, let the app know you've taken it out. It'll update your inventory, and you've very quickly and easily found the brick that you were looking for. We actually tried this out on stream a couple of nights ago, completely accidentally, because I'd started filling some bags for this video and I had a piece missing from the set that I was building, and I literally just went on the app, searched for the piece that I needed. It said I had a piece in bag 10 from my collection, came up here, straight to bag 10, straight to the piece. Because there's only 100 to 200 pieces in the bag, it's really easy to just pick it straight out of the bag. There's no rummaging through and sorting through and trying to find it. Straight into the right bag, straight with the right piece. And I was back downstairs streaming with Anna again in less than a minute. It was that quick, and I was so impressed, and everyone who was watching live was super impressed too. It's great, and I want to show you it in action. So this is the app. As you can see, I've already started putting up, I've got over 2,000 pieces in there. And this is the great thing about it, because it tells me exactly what I've got. So I've done 10 bags worth at the moment. 10 bags worth looks like this. These are my 10 bags. They were in a neater pile than this, but I just wanted to pick them all up in one go. But it's that much Lego, which I now know adds up to 2,299 parts, or 575 different unique shapes, pieces. I've got roughly 3.4 kilograms of Lego there, 46 meters of Lego. Don't quite know why I'd need that. And apparently that pile that I just had in my hands would be worth $345. I take that bit with a pinch of salt. I don't think anybody is paying $345 for a few bags of Lego. Maybe I'm wrong. But one of the other great things it does, so you can see my parts that I've got in here at the moment, it's sorted by different types of bricks. I've got my basic bricks, my sloped bricks, etc., etc., etc. So let's say I am looking for a wedged 3x3 piece. I want that specific piece. It's a bad example because I've only got one of those. So I've only got that, literally that one yellow one. Let's find a better example. Something I've got lots of. So let's say I'm looking for sloped pieces. There you go. I want a 1x2x1 curved piece. It then further subcategorizes it by color. So if I want a white one, I can click there and it tells me that I've got a white one of those in bag 9, scan number 9. I then go to bag 9 and I can pull that piece out. If I want a turquoise one, there's one of them in bag 9 as well. If I want a blue one, there's one in bag 7, one in bag 5. Once I've then found the piece, it's literally as simple as just clicking on it and that removes it from the collection so it doesn't show up the next time you search. I'm obviously going to unremove it because I haven't actually taken that piece out of the bag. Another cool thing it does that I'm not really able to scratch the surface on yet because I've registered so little in it, but it also links your collection to designs, so you can then potentially build stuff out of your loose Lego, you know, what we're supposed to do with Lego. So you can filter these designs for like everything that's in their database, which doesn't cross-reference it against the stuff that you've actually got in your collection. So it'll just take a second to load that up, I think, eventually. I mean, it seems to be running a little slow on that. That's not a particularly useful feature anyway, to be honest. The useful ones are, I want to see everything that I've got an exact match for. So what have I got 100% of the pieces for? And then it shows me the things that I can now build based on the stuff that I've got. So obviously I've not sorted a lot of Lego yet, so there's not any majorly big sets. But say I wanted to build Agent Dog 007, it tells me what parts I need, confirms I've got all the parts, tells me who designed that initially, and then you can hit build and it will take you through the instructions step by step on how to build that based on the parts that you've got. And you can even go and retrieve, if you're not sure where to find the bricks, it even tells you what bag to retrieve the bricks for that you need for that build. It is so clever. And the further into it you get, and the more stuff you have stored in the app, the more, I don't want to be building that anymore, but the more potential builds you then have available to you. And there's some pretty, I mean, there you go, we've got Ecto 1 in there. So if we wanted to build Ecto 1 as an example, we obviously don't have anywhere near the right amount of pieces for Ecto 1 yet. But even if we wanted to build it and maybe supplement the pieces that we didn't have, it's just taking a minute to run through again. Last time I did this, it was running a little bit smoother. I guess the app's getting a little bit more popular. It is new, but it tells me which parts I've got. So down the bottom here somewhere, there you go. So there, I've got 259 of the pieces on hand, and I need a further 297, and it tells me what I need. So if I wanted to then go and do a bricklink order for the bits that I need, I can just take them straight out of the app, and once that bricklink order arrives, I then have all the pieces to make that Ecto 1, hit build, I can follow it through in the app. So clever. But that's not even the cleverest thing about it. The cleverest thing is how it identifies your Lego in the first place. And that's the bit that I want to show you now. So it does say that it does better on the recognition if you sort your pieces on some white paper. So we've got a couple of pieces of white paper out, and I've got some conveniently pre-sorted, not sorted at all. This is where basically I dump all my parts when I'm done building them. So I'm just going to empty a bunch of these out onto there. Try not to lose too many of them on the floor. But it says it works better in batches of like 100 to 200 pieces, which based on my experience so far is about a handful. And then the one thing you have to do is make sure that they're not all on top of each other. If you've got any identifying features, like we've got that Batman symbol on that piece, make sure that's showing to the camera, because obviously if the piece is like that, it's got no way of knowing that that's a Batman piece. But just separate any pieces that are still attached together, spread everything out nicely. I think we've probably got less than we could get away with here, but for the purposes of demonstrating how it works, we'll just spread those out a bit. I think we've got all of those nicely spread out now. Oh, they're all still together, so let's just separate those. I've done this with twice as much Lego as this and it's worked fine, but just kind of to demonstrate how it works to you, you then hit add on the app, make sure that you've got all of the Lego in frame. It says that the app works best when you're in natural light so that you don't cast any shadows on there, but then you just click to capture. It captures the image and then it's doing all of its AI scanning bits of business on there. It's all very complicated and beyond my level of understanding, but you can see it's now identifying and just putting a little thing around all of the different parts. There you go. We've identified 163 different parts there. We can say, yeah, okie doke, 163 parts. We confirm that. It's then got these bounding boxes, so you can zoom in on the picture and just make sure that each one of those boxes is only around one unique piece. So if I wasn't doing this for a video, I'd spend a minute or so just going through and being like, right, have we got all of those different pieces identified properly? I'm going to assume for the purposes of this that we have. Click done again. It then gives you a list of what all the pieces it's identified are and gives you the corresponding photograph to show that you really do have that piece. Some of them are wrong. If it's wrong, you can go in and correct it to be the right shape. Again, I'm not going to mess around and do too much detail on that while I'm showing it on the video, but you can correct any mistakes that it has in there. When you're happy that that's all correct, you then hit done again and it then filters it by color. So you can just make sure that everything has been categorized by color correctly. And again, you can change it if not. Once you're happy with it, you hit done and that's it. It's now in the inventory. And that was bag 11. And then it is just simply a case of grabbing an empty bag, writing 11 on the front of it. And then you pop all these pieces into the bag, which actually it's quite handy having them on the piece of paper because you can kind of just whoosh them in like that. And then bag 11 can be sealed up, go into wherever you're choosing to then store that. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure you store them in order so that you can then easily find the bags. Once you've got a couple of hundred of these, it does start to get a little bit more complicated. But you can now go and search for that stuff. So let's say if we wanted to find a piece out of this bag, so I can see there's a 2x4 blue tile in there. So let's go back into the app again. I want to find a blue tile. So we can go to tiles, where do tiles live on here? Can I just type tile? I can just type tile. So we want a 2x4 tile in blue. And there's actually 4 of them in this bag 11 that we've got here. So we can just go straight back, find the one we want, press to remove it, and it then comes out of the inventory. And it is that easy. It's so very clever. And it's as simple as that. And I can't speak highly enough about it, especially because it's brand new and in a version 1, and I imagine there's going to be further stuff that can be added to this, changed on this as time goes on. I'm already thinking in terms of using it to catalogue my entire collection, to then maybe move on to doing a more physical solution, but get an idea of, right, well, how many bricks of this kind do I need? That tells me what size container I need. Now I can go find them all and physically put them all together and use it as like a stage 1, almost like a pre-sort, to allow you to get your stuff set up properly. But also imagine if it gets to the point where you can then export that database and maybe use that to export from this, import it into Bricklink and use it from there to either set up a Bricklink store, or for me, I've got no interest in selling my Lego, but it would then allow me on sites like Rebrickable to go onto a Rebrickable, and when I wanted to choose a mock or a redesign of a set that I've already got, and whereas at the moment I then go and export from there into Bricklink, buy all the pieces, wait for them to arrive, it could cross-reference against this database and tell me how many of them I've already got. I might not need to buy any at all. I can just go and collect them up from my collection, or I might spend half as much money because I only need half of the parts that I thought I needed before. That functionality is not yet in this. From what I can tell and from what I've been playing around with, there's no way to actually export the data from the app yet. But like I say, I've reached out to the developer and would be very much willing to work with them and help them and offer ideas to them and beta test stuff for them. So this is me reaching out to them via the video as well. I have ideas for how this could get even better, but even in its current form, it is going to change the way I store and organize my Lego. It's free to try out. The app is available, like I say, on both Android and iOS. So whatever type of phone you've got, give it a try. There is a premium subscription version, which I've signed up for because I'm happy to throw some money at this and show my support. And hopefully it allows more time to be spent in those further features to be added in. But there is a way to do a free version of it as well. You get a free trial as well. So it's worth checking out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to give it a try? If yes, what do you think about it? If no, why not? And I know for some of you, you can't beat the physical organization and sorting and all that kind of stuff. And some people enjoy that side of Lego. I don't. I'm not organized enough to do it. My loose Lego is a mess. And if this helps it become less of a mess and helps me spend less money buying in parts that I already have somewhere and just can't find them, then that is a fantastic thing as far as I'm concerned. So it's called Pileometer. The link is in the description below. And hopefully you've found that helpful. If you have, please leave a nice big thumbs up on it for me. Subscribe to the channel for loads more Lego content. And thank you very much for watching.